they are probably the greatest band in American history, just about, in terms of American bands, to me. And that always, this is my chance to...
People always clarify that. They'll say they're the greatest touring band in the history of America.
No, I don't think
You're
that.
saying they're the greatest band.
I think, well, I'm going to just talk about Jerry now and have my chance to say this, because this has been running around in the back of my mind for... I probably only saw 2 rock concerts that completely transported me. One was Bruce Springsteen in 1978. He was doing Rosalita, and every single person in the entire arena was locked to that guy. That made me want to be a live musician. The other would be the first and second times I saw the Dead. And what I saw was a guy, oh no, one other, Zappa. I saw Zappa a number of times, and he was this intense. But Jerry Garcia was an absolute wonder to behold. When he walked on stage, he had every single person in that room riding on his every eyebrow move. And I go to so many concerts, I've never seen it again. And now I know that some time has gone by, how lucky I was. He was such a great singer and such a great songwriter. And that's the thing that I don't see people talking about as much. But when I went and saw the Dead, what I saw was people singing along and hanging on this guy's every inflection. And it was done with tremendous soul. He was the most soulful singer, I mean, I've ever seen. Really, I think that. I really do believe that. So when people started saying that, when he died, it really bothered me. There's never going to be a next Jerry Garcia or a next Grateful Dead. So we took as much as we could from them, because they wrote a whole new...
Because they were good.
They wrote a whole new framework about how, you know, you mix things up and people tour and all the great things they did. But that, you know, I don't know if you ever saw Little Feat when Lowell George was in the band.
Right.
You know, it's not going to be replaced. Lowell George is another one of those guys like that. You know, there's certain people that just are Zappa, you know, that kind of thing, that kind of level. But I thought that Jerry was almost like the modern day Bill Monroe in a certain degree, where he invented, you know, Bill Monroe invented bluegrass. You wouldn't have Alison Krauss without Bill Monroe.
Right.
But Alison Krauss wouldn't be bold enough to say, I'm the next Bill Monroe. You know what I mean? And I think that when you talk about having a jam band scene, it's directly, they invented it. You know, Bonnaroo wouldn't be happening. And it was him, and he...
Is there a successor to Fish?
No.
Is there a link that goes from the Grateful Dead to Fish to question mark?
That's a tough one. I mean, I did think that it would be fun to see, you know, I don't know how to answer that question, because if there was somebody that, you know, there was this band 311 that's around that the bass player said he saw us a couple times, and that made me feel really good. If somebody saw us and got something and they became a musician, it would be a great honor. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I don't know what we are.
What do you regret about what Fish was and what it became and what it is? And if you look from the beginning to this last concert that'll come up.
Okay.
You know,
do you want my honest opinion about that? I think you do. I'll tell you what I regret. What I regret is that, I don't regret it, but I feel like in the last couple of years it started to become an excuse for people to show up in a given town and party. And it never was that for such a long time. I want to accept responsibility for that if that's what it became, you know. But, you know, that's just not right to me, really, that the reason we'd be playing in Vegas for 3 nights is because Vegas is a fun place to party, and if we're playing there, everybody can go hang out in their hotel room, including me, you know, and stay up all night, you know, because it wasn't that for so long. You know, it was like the only thought was about the show. I mean, I used to lock myself in my hotel room as soon as the concert was over. For years, I would run back to my hotel room and start working on the set list for the next night. And even though there wasn't really a set list, there kind of was. Like I knew what was going on. And I was working and working and working, you know, oh my God, for hours, ripping pieces of papers out of books, you know, and then right to the practice room. Come on, guys, everybody in the practice room. And then hours before the show, songs we hadn't played in a while. And, I mean, it was just like a heavy work ethic until we got on stage, and then it was just a celebration. But like you were saying before, without that work ethic part of it, I don't think it would have been that. It was intense. And then once that working and kind of went away, and it got sloppy around the edges, and you know, you just can't beat that into the ground. I mean, you can't tell.
When you described the best moments for you with seeing Bruce that night,
Yeah.
seeing Jerry twice,
I saw him more than twice.
Right,
I saw
okay.
him probably 10
Okay.
times, yeah.
Zappa at least.
Yeah. I mean, there are specific moments that I remember, you know, a moment watching Jerry where I was looking into his, and everyone was, in a moment watching Zappa once, one song that he played, and I saw him a number of times, where it was like the walls folded away, the roof disappeared, and he was ripping it up on that guitar up there, and he turned around and he did his hand signals, told the band to stop, was looking at Chad Wackerman, and did about 4 or 5 minutes on his guitar with just him and the drums, and it was like the whole place was like they all breathed in. And that's what I saw. I saw that with, you know, the Dead, and I've seen it with I saw it with Bruce Springsteen once, and I actually saw it once with Bobby McFerrin. But that's what you want. Anything you can do to get that moment live.
With respect to Fish,
Yeah.
I mean, how many moments, great moments have there? I mean, has there been one experience? I've asked this of every people like
Yeah.
Beverly Sills. Has there been a song, a performance?
Yeah.
Has that been for you?
Yeah, and let me just, before I say that, I want to say something. A lot of this decision came when I sat on a panel, and this I've talked with my wife about this. I went to a panel called The Power of Music, and my guest was Beverly Sills.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with her backstage, and I thought she was the most incredible human being I had ever sat with. She stopped singing. She was America's greatest opera singer ever. She stopped singing at the peak of her career, and she told me, with all honesty, and she might have told you this, that she's never sung another note ever, including Happy Birthday, since that point, because she does not want to hear herself not be the beautiful songbird, the angel that everyone else heard. And I've thought of her a number of times in making this decision. She has also gone on to raise $85 million for the United Way. So she was a great opera singer, and she had a whole other life that she can be incredibly proud of. And I really hope that that's what this is going to be. I don't know what that will be, but
She also remembered there were a couple of nights at
Yeah.
the opera that stood out
yep,
for you.
yeah. Big Cypress, the night we played all night, was,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't even know what to say. Anyways, I mean, it was beyond, it was like a weird dream, and just kept going on. We played for about 4.5 straight hours, maybe 5, and then all of a sudden, it was like a big door open. We got tired, and in the tiredness, all of your judgment, this is good, this is bad, went away, and it just became like music. I could feel like the air going in and out of my nose, and it was 80,000 people. And then the sun came up. Oh, I can't, it was just, so that, and I got to point to one other night. We were at the UIC Pavilion in Chicago, and we were playing Divided Sky, and we got down to this quiet part where it gets silent. We're getting quieter and quieter, and then it became silence. And I had my eyes closed, and I could feel the crowd, and I started to, because improvising is, you're trying to translate what's out there already, the greater pattern of things, and sometimes it feels like it's coming through a hole, and you couldn't play a wrong note if you tried, you're just floating. And at that moment, you were in the middle of it, and I started to see these colors, like, I'm not kidding, floating around in the room, and I realized that I could almost, it was silent, but I could see what we were translating. And as soon as I could see them, I started improvising, but I didn't play anything. I did everything in the course of improvisation except the actual notes, and as soon as I did it, the whole place erupted. It was like, and tears started rolling down my face. And it was at that moment that I knew that it was truly bigger than me. You know what I mean? And that was, but there was probably a lot of moments like that, but those two just come to mind. It was amazing. It's
Amazing
incredible.
journey.
Oh. so great. I want to thank this one group of people. There were like 5 or 6 friends that danced in front of Paige for like years. Okay?
Okay.
One of them was and I don't remember their names, but maybe I'm supposed to know them, but they never really bugged me or anything. They were just great. One of them was a sort of lean woman with short, dark hair. They were a group of friends, and they were there for years, just part of our fixture, and I always saw them. And I remember when the hiatus happened, and then they came to one of my solo shows, and I had a strange interaction with this woman who I don't know, but who I really know more than she even knows how much I know her, because I watched her for years. And then I don't think I saw them anymore when we came back. And throughout all this, I wondered what they thought when they heard we were stopping. And I had this deep-held belief that they think it's right. I really want to believe that, because they were so connected without ever talking to us. They just must think it's right. I want to bump into them on the street and say,
You want to hear
we
from
do.
them. You want to hear from
I
them
do.
and say, we understand.
I do, because I do love the people in the audience.
So what do you do now? Does the solo career continue?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you've got the album here.
Well, that album I love very much, and my heart's in it, and it goes back to something that I've been wanting to do for years. It's composed music again, and when we go back to what it was at the beginning of Fish, all the way through, a lot of it was that, more than some people, and people who know the band understand that, but people outside think there's a lot of this jam band improvisation thing, and really an enormous part of Fish was heavily composed, charted out, and I like doing that. I like counterpoint, and so it's kind of been growing. I have a 10-piece band, and on there it's up to 65, and it's something that I enjoy, and I would love to keep doing to some degree.
Undermine is. Thank you for coming here this evening.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Much success.
Thanks a lot.
I know you want to hear from people who say to you, I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.